switch it now. Looks like we got to stay at home throughout April. Says California governor.
I saw that. Not just for California.
Is it just everywhere?
Yeah, I saw for Ireland.
What's up, everyone? Can you guys see and hear me? Everything good? Just give me confirmation that we're all clear to go and we'll get started. Camera. Make sure it's still working. Sound is back. All right. Losing sound, going in and out. Oh, it's because the camera turned off and the sound goes through the camera. That makes sense. All right. Yeah, I don't have a bang this morning. I'm saving it so that I exercise after this and lift weights. All right, let us begin. I don't feel fully awake, but I'm going to do my best. How do I read the chat while I do this? I have to open it on my phone. Here we go. Pull up my chat. You guys, there's kind of a lot of background noise. Here we go. You can hear everything. Why don't you guys tell me you can hear my every breath? This should be a little better. Maybe not that low. Right there. All right, guys. Let's do this. I'm going to transition us to Gracie Jiu Jitsu Self-Defense Volume 1. Make sure you guys can see this properly. Yep. Oh, it's too low now? How's that? Hey Keenan, if faced with an aggressive person at a bar or something, with your back against the wall, what is the best way, quickest and most efficient way to remove the threat and get away? Thank you. Well, let's find out right now. Here we go. As you can see, we have Gracie Jiu Jitsu Street Self-Defense Volume 1 on here. What we'll be doing today is reviewing some of these techniques that we find in here. Hopefully something more dynamic than just like, I don't know, someone grabbing your wrist or something. So we're gonna look through this, find some techniques that we can try live right after. And Miha is going to attempt them on me, or I will attempt them on Miha. But Miha is going to be unaware of what technique I'm going to use specifically. So he's not allowed to watch the instructional. He's got to go do something else. And I will be reviewing this with you guys. This is a pretty long video, so we'll probably skip through a lot, but...
Wait, so I gotta like properly go.
Yeah, you gotta F off, dude. Go do some internet work. Go on, get out of here. All right. There is background noise. Yeah, I know. And I'm not sure how to fix it. It's because I'm using the other mic today. Here, I'll try and fix the audio real quick since we're still at the beginning. Yep. Oh, it's too low now? No, it sounds good. How's that? Oh yeah, it was fine. You guys are crazy. Just turn up your computers. Hey Keenan, if faced with an aggressive person at a bar or something, with your back against the wall. There will be no hate today. We're going to review this because I've never studied Gracie self-defense before. Like I've been exposed to it, and this is probably one of the oldest jiu jitsu self-defense things. Okay. Ducked his head out. And it appears he's doing a sort of hip toss counter. Okay, so this is just him kind of teaching a hip toss. I want to see something. I want to see a situation escalate. Here we go. Looks like he's pressed up against a wall here. Let's see what this is. So this is fair use. I'm providing analysis and commentary over this, so no one can file copyright claims against me. You could probably even categorize this under parody if I make any jokes. The stream's not choppy, it's the old video that you're watching. Well, it could be choppy, but I don't think it is. Where's the pen? That might mean the stream is choppy. Oh, it does seem to be kind of lagging a little. Oh well, we'll just have to roll with it. All right, I'll try and fix. I wonder if it's because I'm streaming a video. I don't know why that is. Oh yeah, that could be it. Streaming it myself. Let's see. I bet Tony's watching. What's that? Oh, just in general today? Oh no. I think it's a YouTube issue maybe. Emma says that she looked it up and YouTube's having problems today. All right, let's see if it works now. Tell me if it's still doing it, guys. Can you see me okay? Seems better. There's an old half-drinking bang next to me right here. It's very tempting. Like a junkie seeing a cigarette butt. Is this better? Not as bad, but still a bit. Still way better. I texted Tony and told him to stop downloading stuff. Better? Okay. So it looks like they're incorporating a lot of strikes in this today. Striking, we're trying to focus more on non-violent conflict resolution. That's my philosophy. I want to incapacitate my assailant with purely jiu-jitsu holds and grappling movements as much as possible, while eliminating their ability to strike me. And I don't want to have to strike them, but if I get to a dominant position and I'm forced to, I will do it. So that's what we're looking for here today. It looks like we're transitioning to shoulder grabs now. Someone grabs your shoulder like, hey man, back up. Or I'm not sure why someone would grab your shoulder really. Standing elbow locks. Yeah, this would work against an untrained opponent. And that's the thing that's like, you have to watch this through a lens of understanding that this is all created to defeat someone who knows nothing. And in our perspective is skewed because we know a little bit more about grappling and understand that there's like some dynamics involved that wouldn't necessarily work on us, but this would work on someone. If they grab your shoulder, you will grab. You can do this elbow lock to them. Oh, the Aoki arm snap too. That's a powerful move. Miha did this to me the other day in training, and it almost broke my arm. But I don't think I can do this live to Miha. I want to try and find some situations that we can escalate. Here we go, bear hugs. This is what I want to see. I'm not as worried about shoulder grabs. All right, so someone bear hugs you. I was reading the chat there for a second. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Shoot, you guys are seeing all my secret messages now. It won't let me fast forward. Can I like hide this taskbar? Let me turn this off. I'll move it to the left. There we go. All right, where were we? Bear hug defense. Moving to the hips. That's what he was looking for here. Oh, using the elbow to stop the hip closing distance. And this is volume 1, so it's going to be like super basic. Because you got to remember, this is teaching people who probably never trained and they just want to learn a little bit of self-defense. So I might have to find volume 2 because I'm slightly more advanced of a self-defense practitioner than this, I think. Okay, oh, move right into some throws. Yeah, I do know that this will not work against Miha if he bear hugs me. I will not be able to hip toss him. This could potentially work. But I have a feeling that it will kind of degrade into more of a scramble. For instance, if someone's bear hugging me, I'm probably going to do some sort of Greco maneuvers to escape the bear hug. Because pushing someone's chin is pretty tough. Yeah, I guess it's all just depends on if they know what they're doing or not. That's the issue here. It's like, you can do almost anything to someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Like if someone who has no training, you can pretty much just have your way with them as far as like any sort of grappling maneuvers. But what about if someone's a little more experienced? That's what my focus. I think my expertise in self-defense is going to be more about like how to defend yourself on the street against someone who actually knows a little bit about what they're doing. Because in this day and age, you have the UFC teaching people on their their shows how to do moves. They have like these whole series of like technique now. So the average person might have a little bit of grappling understanding. They're probably signed up at the UFC gym somewhere. They're learning from some brown or black belt who probably knows a little bit. And in that case, they're going to know to tuck their face against you when they do a bear hug. Okay, here we go. Miha did this one. He pulled it off against Tony on the first day when we did some of the situational sparring for street fights. Taking a strong base, clearing. This is a situation you got to worry about, though, because Miha was just telling me about a fight he got in where someone was holding one of the participants in the fight back like this. I think this is the most common counter that you see. And I think this is actually really effective. If someone grabs over your arms like this, this is probably one of your best options. But you better watch out if this person attacking you knows about the seatbelt grip. They get a seatbelt on you, it's a different story. What do you guys think? I kind of was focusing. Is the stream not working again? All right, let's try and find some more situations. Kind of just drilling this one on repeat. All right, I'm too advanced for this stuff. Now we got sticks involved. I think we just got to get in here and just like figure it out ourselves. This is kind of outdated material. Where's volume 2? How am I supposed to be fully trained if I can't even find volume 2? All right, Miha, are you in your street fighting clothes? It looks like, from what I can tell, you're either getting attacked with a stick, someone's coming at you really aggressively with some sort of stick, or they're grabbing you from a bear hug from behind. We don't. We might have to watch this one later. Female wrestler beats up TV host. Yeah, I'm not being sarcastic. That's literally what the video is showing me. I just thought this is just volume 1, so I don't see volume 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10, probably. But I need to know what other situations occur in street fights. Every street fight situation I've been in has been sort of like a gentleman's agreement where you like square up and then you fight. I've never been jumped by someone.
What we could do is like assume that you got jumped. So someone came in from the side, hit you with an elbow, you're on the ground, you're kind of groggy. You have open guard, and now they're trying to attack you. Like, what do you do?
But then it's like, we know what to do from there. Everyone knows what to, everyone in here does jiu-jitsu and knows.
The person's coming in with strikes. It's a little bit different. You know, like technical stand-up or...
Yeah, but it's like, that's so easy. Everyone's seen that. It's taught in like day 1 of everything. Well, these people, our audience is highly educated in the martial arts.
Hey, someone sent volume 2 to the Discord.
Oh, nice. Can you put that link somewhere? I need to see volume 2. Danny Nora says, it's clear you guys didn't know that much about MMA. How many MMA fights have you had, Miha? Miha's had 12 MMA fights, and I spent the first 5 years of my life training with BJ Penn and the Lloyd Irvin MMA team. I think we know a little bit about MMA. I don't know how many fights you have, Danny, but maybe you should link us your accolades. Hickson is free this month. He's got his instructional. All right, let's just take a quick peek at volume 2 here. I'm gonna get the link from the Discord. All right. Where they send it in? Legion Live?
Yeah.
Here it is. Here we go. Volume 2. This is what I've been waiting for. Hopefully it's not more of the same. Oh, a chicken wing situation. Wrist control. Hair grabs.
I know a couple of advanced moves that you can assess to.
Yeah?
Like against the wall.
You have some advanced Gracie combative moves? Okay. We should do some wall situations. That would be good.
I'm trying to remember when I used to show some white belts at like the wall.
Okay, he grabs your shirt. Yeah, Miha's just going to let go of my shirt. This isn't going to work against Miha. But we need to study this stuff because we need to know where we're starting from. Catching a front kick. Some good trips. Yeah, MMA instructionals would be good because there's a lot of really good MMA technique out there, but it's kind of reserved for like actual pro MMA fighters and learning from the coaches. The MMA coaches don't really put out their MMA secrets because I've trained with some MMA coaches and they have a lot of good MMA specific technique, which is obviously a little more practical than this, I think, against someone who like knows a little bit more, you know? There's no way that training for another trained fighter attacking you leaves you unprepared for someone who doesn't know.
Dude, it's so easy to just...
That's the thing. I think that's the big issue that people don't totally understand. If you train for someone who's also trained, you will easily defeat someone who's untrained. So this is like sort of a shortcut for people who don't want to fully train, but they want to learn some technique to just I don't know, have something to go on.
I think one thing to be mentioned is if you're like street grappling someone that's completely new, that doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu, they may sometimes like tense up on something so bad, something that's a bad idea, like a headlock or a guillotine and stuff like that. So you're also trying to not have them hold you for more than 10 seconds. You know?
Right. You got to try and get out of
like
positions.
They can't have zero control in a street situation.
That's a good point.
Someone may come in and like kick you in the head.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to escape well, it's not hard to escape, but it does take a little bit of time to escape a headlock.
I've had harder rounds before with a super fresh, strong white belt that was just like going 100% for everything than like a mediocre blue belt.
Yeah, for sure. But now we're moving on to knives, which I'm a little less
buy those knives that like have electricity where they simulate.
If you get stabbed. What you do is you just get some markers and you wear white clothes and you just have a knife fight. And whoever has
you tape markers to a knife.
Whoever gets marked up the most loses. Oh, I don't know why Super Chat is turned off. Oh, it's because, I know why. All right, so I think this is a bust for what we're trying to accomplish. I was expecting something a little different. I was expecting some more situational training, you know, some more like if someone's punching you on the ground, how to defend it, more MMA style stuff. So maybe that's not really, people aren't really aware of that. Because I know that stuff. We could easily teach like the actual basics of MMA, which makes more sense, I think, than this. You can't, like you're gonna get stabbed. You can't just grab someone's wrist and, all right. I don't know about this one, guys.
Hey, let's just brainstorm what you would do against the wall in this situation.
Yeah. I just gotta fix something real fast and then we'll move to the normal camera. All right. Yeah, if you only know Gracie combatives against someone who actually trains jiu-jitsu and is like a blue belt or purple belt, then you're probably in a rough spot. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. And I just need to change one thing here. There we go. All right, guys, we're back. I need to put on my street gear. And I wore some special sweatpants today to pay homage to the combatives program. You have to respect where you came from. We lost Tony, guys. Tony is incapacitated from some bad food. This is high visibility training gear because if you're ever out in the dark alley and you get attacked, you need to be more visible so people can come help you. Isn't that right? So what I was seeing, just to recap what we covered there in the combatives video, I don't think that was combatives. That was something different. Gracie combatives is something that Henner and his brother do. That was like old school. So I have to update myself on more of the combatives situation, okay? But I think first we need to discuss, because someone thinks that we don't know how to do MMA, apparently. Someone in here, Danny, if I remember correctly, and if I see his name again, he will be permanently banned for his insolence. And that's just how I feel about that situation. First of all, as a grappler, you need to understand how to defend strikes, okay? When you're on your back and you're getting punched, a lot of the same fundamentals apply, such as inside control and breaking posture, the two most important, okay? Let's assume that we're more in a situation like Miha was describing earlier, which maybe you guys didn't hear. But the situation he described was someone maybe blindsiding you, coming out of nowhere, sucker punching you, you get stunned, and maybe you get knocked down to the ground. Like, oh! And I'm down on the ground like this. Let's talk about how to. Let's turn this way. And I know that this mic kind of messes up on these hoodies. Maybe I should clip it somewhere a little different. It's too tight on my neck, that's why. Here we go. All right, so you get knocked down. One of the things I saw people complaining about in our last guard video was getting stomped on. And I just need to clear this up. If someone lifts their leg off the ground to do anything in jiu-jitsu, their balance is so, or not in jiu-jitsu, in a fight scenario, their balance is so off that guard actually becomes very effective. However, when I talk about no-gi jiu-jitsu, we're doing this a lot. This is not what we want to do in a street fight scenario. You definitely don't want to be playing sit-up guard if you get knocked down, okay? So we're reverting back to more traditional flat on your back guard, which is probably where being flat on your back came from, because jiu-jitsu was originally designed as a fighting thing, right? Like we're trying to fight. How are you supposed to defend that? Well, you don't want to be seated like this. This is a very advantageous position for Miha, right? So if I get knocked down, I want to have my feet up. But if you just put your feet on the hips, as Horian was explaining earlier, having your feet right here on the thighs will actually help you a lot against any sort of stomping attacks, because if he lifts his legs up, your legs are in the way, and you'll be able to redirect some of that energy and at least be able to defend yourself better than any other option here. If I were to treat it more like an MMA scenario, you may want to try and get to the legs and go into like a half guard situation, but it is risky. And I think in MMA, you see people mostly laying on their back like this because they're kind of just waiting for an opportunity to create space and get up, or have their opponent come in closer into guard, and you have to kind of absorb some punches. The one thing you need to really focus on is you don't want to be prioritizing grips in an MMA scenario or a fight scenario. You need to be prioritizing frames to defend your face from getting punched. And now remember, when people are attacking you, especially like ravenous hooligans, they're rarely going to be throwing straight strikes. Like straight strikes are much more dangerous against frames, right? But if he's throwing like kind of looping haymakers from on top, which is what most people do, even in professional scenarios, having a frame around your face is actually very effective, because whichever side he comes in on, your forearms are going to be able to absorb a lot of the impact. And you have to understand, you're still going to get hit. Like if you're in a fight, you're probably going to get hit. But what you can do is eliminate a lot of the power and force that he's able to generate by creating frames and by using your legs effectively. So feet on the hips. When he tries to close distance to actually throw punches, I just want to have my frame, and I'm trying to absorb the impact, and then when he comes into you, you're trying to close distance, right? This is all basic stuff. Here, close guard, I'm controlling the head to keep his posture down, and I want to be keeping my frame up to the side that I'm facing. I'm not going to be trying to grab his wrist here, just like trying to grab it as he's punching. I just keep my frame at the elbow. You can see at the elbow is the easiest target for my forearm to absorb impact, right? Then we're in closed guard, and we're trying to control the situation with our closed guard attacks. Overhooking, over the back grip on the material. This will keep his posture broken, and we can potentially start looking for more sweeping opportunities here, okay? Trying to get ourselves out from underneath. In this situation, I don't want to be like trying to punch back or trying to stand up here. Because if I'm trying to stand up and create distance, I'm going to be getting punched again, because now I've sacrificed my control to be trying to stand up. So I need to prioritize control after I've eliminated the threat of the strikes, right? So my hand always needs to be on the arm. I won't usually keep it here. Back in my MMA training days, which I have a lot of experience in MMA training, I just want to make that very clear. And Miha has a lot of experience doing actual MMA. He was Slovenia's highest ranked MMA fighter for a number of years, right, Miha? Amateur MMA fighter, highest ranked amateur MMA fighter, okay? You don't want to get in a fight with Miha, trust me. Don't keep your hands separated from the arm. Once the distance is closed and you have control, you need to keep this hand on the arm so you can track it wherever it goes. If I just create a hook over the tricep like this, he's not going to be able to throw strikes that surprise me. Because at the moment I feel a movement for this hand as he tries to strike, I can just give more resistance and slow that force down, okay?
Someone's going to ask, elbows. It also works.
It also works elbows, but you just want to keep your hand on the inside, because if he tries to go for an elbow, it's not going to clear my hand grip here. But look, I focused on killing this arm so he can't be throwing strikes with this arm, and I have an over the back grip here like this to control. This is where you want to be. And then every time he opens this arm to try and throw a strike, I can put more frames in place. I can use my knee like this, and I can start trying to create more threats with actual jiu-jitsu, like an omoplata, for instance. Omoplata would actually, I know someone has been asking for an omoplata for days now. This would be a great opportunity, okay? So just to recap, what did we do there? We focused on, yeah, we can talk about headbutts for sure. But remember, I'm teaching to the camera. So, oh, I caught that. That was crazy. Can you guys hear this okay? Maybe I can do, yeah, I guess it's got to stay like this. All right, we're trying to not get our balls stomped on. Primary objective here. We got knocked down. We're waiting for the opponent to try and engage into us. Of course, I want to be throwing my up kicks if he gets too close. making sure that he can't just engage safely, right? I might eat some leg kicks here to the leg. There's not much you can do about that except try and keep your feet on the hips and control. And as he closes distance, I need to see which hand is coming and try and block that before I can get my control. And I'm not going to be reaching. It's better to control your face than to be reaching too early. If he's still in my guard here, I'm not going to be reaching. This is how you get punched in the face. Just like in jiu-jitsu, you don't want to extend your arms. If he's throwing strikes, you need to cover up and absorb these impacts until you can get to a control position and actually start to get to a position where you can't throw strikes. Now from here, that's why I'm controlling the head. The person who said headbutt, I did say control the head. You never want to let go of the head, obviously. The over the back grip like this, when I cut the angle here like this will protect me from headbutts. He can't generate enough force here and get to my head as long as I keep my guard close, okay? He can't generate like the posture to get up and then strike me. So I'm actually okay to keep my hand here, as long as I have my arm over the back like this. And then when he tries to open up to put more strikes, that's the perfect opportunity to get my knee in place and start slowing down his ability to attack. Get to a high guard. I wouldn't recommend rubber guard in a situation against like a trained grappler because it can just be difficult to actually get your arm or your leg into position for the rubber guard. Here, you might as well just go for the omoplata. Like, what's the point, really? Keep that angle turned, knee on the inside like this, controlling from here. Now, if I want to reverse the position, one of your best options is actually butterfly guard sweeps. Because this arm is so isolated, I have space on this side to put my foot in for a butterfly, and I have a great over-the-back grip. We're in the streets, right? So I got this nice grip here over the back. I can start elevating and creating distance between us and get a height advantage. If he tries to posture up to escape the position, I can be clearing over to butterfly control, and now we're on top, right?
One thing that people are gonna point out too is like, these are mats, but on the streets that would not be impossible for you to do. And if I miss a punch, I punch concrete. It's like dangerous for me.
Can you guys hear that? What if he's doing the Schwab shutdown? Then you're probably not in danger.
You're probably already talking to the police and stuff by then.
Yeah.
25 minutes of running.
Mount control basics. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about mount control against a wild assailant that you've just swept. One thing you have to remember is this is concrete now, so you don't really want to be putting your knees on the floor as much as possible. In fights that I've been in the past, I used normal jiu-jitsu, how I would on a mat, and my knees and elbows and hands were all scraped up really bad, which is like not the end of the world. It's just scratches, you know? Like if you have to use your normal jiu-jitsu on concrete, it won't be comfortable, but it's not going to permanently injure your body, you know? So there are ways around that though, like knee on belly is a really good option, especially if we're talking about less trained opponents. Putting your knee on them is a lot softer than putting it on the ground. And you got to remember, they're going to be kind of bucking and trying to escape the situation. A great example of mount to control an untrained opponent was Matt Serra in that bar. If you saw the video, if you haven't seen it, check out Matt Serra in that bar where he was controlling a guy, and the guy tried to spit on him, and Matt Serra just took the guy's own shirt, just put it over his face, and the guy couldn't really do anything. And Matt Serra is a highly trained grappler, obviously.
Also, from being in a knee on belly position, if there's another person coming in, you go to like combat base.
Yeah,
right
you
away,
can
not
get
like
up
mount.
quicker. Yeah.
Mount is weird.
How would you shoot a takedown on concrete without hurting the knee? Just don't drop your knee. You just lower your level without dropping your knee to the ground. But let's keep talking about mount. Go scoot this way a little. So say we do manage to reverse the position after following our fundamentals of blocking, prioritizing, protecting ourselves from strikes before getting grips, right? We sweep. I'm on top of a crazed savage, probably infected with some sort of viral infection trying to bite me. That's one thing too, you have to protect, once you're on top, you have to protect against cheap shots, right? This guy might be trying to bite you, he might be trying to grab your balls, he could be doing any sort of crazy thing. It's true. If someone feels desperate and they're about to get punched in the face by you, they'll try anything. And even if he's a trained grappler, what's he gonna do? Like try and trap my leg while I'm ready to punch him in the face? No, he's either gonna be covering his face, defending himself, trying to deal with the strikes, or he's gonna be fighting really dirty, trying to gouge my eyes. So I need to create distance between us, just like I would have distance management in a striking scenario. I wanna create distance, which is why the throat grab for lack of a better term, I'll just call it this, is very good to maintain distance because I can turn my shoulder away like this to avoid him clawing at my face and eyes, and I can absorb a lot of this impact here. They'll go crazy, right? My main concern is not to do like jiu-jitsu control, because getting too low like this, one, if other attackers might show up to the scene, maybe his buddy, I'm not going to be ready for it. I'm going to get kicked in the liver or soccer kicked in the head. So I do want to actually be more up here. It's actually better to be in a more higher controlled position than a low mount control position. So any of the stuff that I teach, like some of the Legion members know, I taught a lot of mount control. That's more jiu-jitsu specific on a mat. What I would like all of you new aspiring street fighters or street self-defense masters was to use just a windshield wipe maneuver to clear the knee on belly here. Because even against a trained grappler, knee on belly is very oppressive, right? But it gives me the ability, like Miha made the point earlier, if someone else is coming to the scene, I can be aware of it. I'm going to keep my hand on his neck to maintain distance, and I have the opportunity to strike really effectively. And remember, as the more trained athlete, like yourselves, if you are forced to incapacitate your opponent with strikes, do not do looping strikes, because as long as he puts his hand up, the impact will be absorbed if you start trying to loop. Do straight strikes, because if his hands are here like this, he can't absorb the power unless he directly parries it with a hand grab here. But if you're moving straight, it's much more difficult to block these strikes, okay, in an MMA scenario. Now, I'm on the knee on belly so that if anyone's coming, I can quickly disengage and even run or leave the situation if I'm clearly outnumbered. As we saw last Thursday, I think it was, or Wednesday, multiple attackers is not going to work, right? Unless you're standing striking. If you're standing and striking, you could have a potential ability to beat multiple attackers. But on the ground, you don't want someone jumping on your back and pinning your legs. They don't even have to know jiu-jitsu, but if they're just trying to hold you, it's going to be tough even against two people, right? Yeah, you can definitely use elbows, for sure, if that was what your goal, but I'm thinking more about just incapacitating my opponent and leaving the scene. I'm not trying to win an MMA fight here or cut him up. I don't want to damage this person too badly. I'm just trying to stop him, right? Oh, did someone leave a super chat that I missed? Can someone tell me what it was? So, what is the person on the bottom going to be doing? Probably trying to either turn away or turn in, right? If he's turning in, remember I have my foot on the ground, not my knee, so I don't have to get slid around on the concrete. Why not? Just bleed. So, don't you want to go to high mount? No, because the whole point, if my knees are on the ground on concrete and he's bucking and bridging, you will get your legs scratched up really bad. And this is not as important for defense. Like, I don't have to get high mount. And actually against a high mount, he has you kind of built him a defense here because there's a lot of arms in the way. It's actually a lot harder to strike from high mount because you have to lean back to actually generate force. And that's when he can start throwing his legs at you, or his hip bumping ability will actually cause you to lean too far forward. So a lower hip control is better here, okay? And I'm trying to keep my foot up like this, all right? It was me, Keenan Williams guard, in your MMA training footage. I don't have any footage of it.
No, it was in the close guard before.
Oh, yeah.
You said no rubber guard. What about Williams guard?
What is Williams guard?
I forget. It's like a similar position.
This isn't just like close guard?
Similar, yeah.
It's like close guard with your knee up? I'm not sure why it's named that. I think it's just
After Sean Williams, I think.
But did it exist before?
I think it's specific enough to warrant
Really?
being named something else.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, but I'm sure everyone uses it effectively. But what I was just doing from close guard is mostly what you're going to have to be doing in MMA scenarios as well. You don't really have that many options other than just to defend strikes and then break their posture and get an overhook control or some sort of control. Okay? Isn't it a douche? Isn't it a douche to name your technique with your own name or last name? I don't know. I've avoided it intentionally. Okay? Best guard for MMA, close guard for sure, right? Another thing you can do that's actually very effective, you're trying to really take this person out of the game. He really wanted to kill you and you're forced to actually knock him out or incapacitate him. Of course, you can use chokes. But one thing that's actually very effective, if you maintain an overhook control and you get this sleeve here into this hand, like this. Look at this. this arm is trapped, and he's not going to be able to defend my strikes. He can try and bridge away from me, but this underhook is actually super strong control. He tries to turn into me. My knee on belly is very effective, and he's not able to generate enough hip thrust force to actually knock me loose. This is a very strong position. And this is something that you actually can do in MMA when they have gloves on. It's illegal, but people do it anyways. When they're here and they're in a grappling position and they see an opportunity to secure a grip inside the glove, even if it's just for a second to get one strike, then they'll let go of it so the refs don't see and then they keep going. That's actually some high-level MMA techniques there, okay? So don't neglect the sleeve control if you do have to strike your opponent. That's a real thing, all right? Let's take a second to just collect ourselves. Okay. Homemade grappling dummy, I guess like sew a shirt to a pair of pants and stuff it full of pillows or other clothing. You could like roll up some towels and stuff them in the legs of a pair of pants and then somehow attach that to a hoodie that you've also filled up. We're not bowing in because this isn't jiu jitsu, this is street fighting. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic, Ghost Phantom 98. Would you avoid triangle choke? Probably. I don't think it's necessary. Because if you go for triangle choke, he might try and bite you, yes. Like, if he does, he's still going to get choked unconscious, but it would be, you do want to avoid getting bitten. That's why it's more about keeping distance, right? If you're on their back, yes, go for rear naked chokes or something like that, but you don't want to be like aggressively going for mounted submissions there. And that's the thing too, is like if you get someone's arm and you like break someone's arm in a grappling match, what did you really accomplish? You just injured someone really badly, and maybe they won't be able to continue fighting you, but I don't know. It wouldn't be my first choice to go for joint locks. Unless it was like, this is going to be an extended fight, I can't escape from it, and I'll have to actually break the guy's leg or something so that he can't continue fighting me effectively. In that case, wrist locks are highly effective. How would that front headlock takedown Gordon used on you standing in a street fight? It would just take you right into mount, and then you could windshield the knee on belly. Yes, RNC for sure. So one thing that's very important in street fight scenarios too is we just discussed what happens if you get knocked down, what the basics are there. But what about if you're standing and you're trying to avoid the standing situation as long as possible? Because that's the downside to a stand-up scenario, is you don't want to be getting punched in the face, because anyone can get a lucky punch and crack you, no matter how skilled you are. If someone is fast and they throw a quick strike, you can get hit. Yes. So while we're on the ground as well, let's talk about triangle from bottom, because triangle from bottom is actually very effective in a grappling match on the streets. Okay? But you do have to avoid not getting slammed. Okay? If someone tries to slam you, you're in trouble on the concrete. So how do you avoid that? Well, one, if you feel like you're about to get lifted off the ground and you don't have a secure hold, you need to let go. But let's say we're in the same position. I'll do it on this side, actually. Same position here. I managed to get my frame and I start to get my knee in place. I'm able to get my knee in place because he was throwing punches with his hand. If he was just grappling, he would have kept this elbow here tight, not letting me get my knee in place. But because we have the overhook control on this side, this arm is pretty not dangerous here, right? But this arm is still dangerous. So when you start to throw strikes or try and hit me or something, go ahead and move your arm a little bit. I can get my knee in place. And once I have my knee in place, now I can start looking for wrist control, but I don't just reach for the wrist. I use my other hand to block if he continues throwing strikes, because if I'm reaching and he goes to throw another strike and I didn't block with the other hand, I could still get hit. So once I'm here, I want to have this hand in place as well as he goes to throw another strike. Go ahead and throw the punch so that I can secure, get wrist control, and then start shooting the triangle. All right? Once you're in the triangle, you're pretty safe from strikes here, because now I can just keep my hands in a place. He can't really generate a lot of force. But what am I trying to do to avoid getting slammed? First thing is you don't want to be wasting time trying to cross his arm in front of your body here. If I'm trying to clear this arm in front, this is just a waste of time. You can finish the choke without that happening. And if you double up with both hands on the wrist, he can turn the angle and potentially get you, strike you in the face. So we're not going to focus on that. I want to keep this arm here pinned, in control. Just a second here. I'm just worried about getting striked. I don't want to get hit. That's the main goal. Now say he starts to stand up and clear the space. I have to underhook the leg as quickly as possible while still trying to defend my face from strikes. Underhooking the leg is important, but I'm not focused 100% on the leg. I don't just grab at the leg. I control the leg, but I'm trying to secure the arm still with frames. So now if he tries to stand up, he's not going to be able to because of this underhook coupled with frames here, okay? If I just try to do normal jiu-jitsu and I'm just holding onto his head like this and the guy's super strong, he could lift me up and slam me, which we won't make Miha do because it's going to throw out his back. But the second you feel someone start to stand, we're underhooking, but always maintaining a frame so that we can avoid these strikes or at least mitigate some of the damage. Here, this grip is what I want, the underhook, and then in front of the arm back to my framing, okay? I think Ian had that question. That's how you avoid getting slammed from that situation. And if you ever miss the ability to underhook, you need to let go of the triangle completely.
Can we do a scenario where you have, I don't know, mount or top position on me and I try to escape like a crazy person?
We can, but first I want to talk about getting the fight to the ground as the person on top. Everyone keeps talking about Williams guard, but I'm not really sure what that is. I mean, I'm sure I'd recognize the position, but I'm not familiar with the name.
Someone said close guard with the arm inside the knee.
Yeah, that's what I just did, right? My knee over their arm. Isn't that Williams guard?
I think that might be it, yeah.
Yeah, that's just like, that's just the position you try and get to from close guard always. If you have close guard, you always want to get your knee there because it's like the next step in close guard. Otherwise, you're just going to stay in close guard. Williams guard is like rubber guard. That's what I don't understand. It's like there's a lot of different names for the same thing. Feed your arm under. Oh, you go like this? I see what you're saying. It's not that big. Like, you don't, that grip doesn't make that much of a difference. You don't need that grip. Like, sure, use it. I don't know. It doesn't change as much. But let's talk about from a standing position. If someone does try and blindside you, but you're prepared for it, and someone rushes at you, we need to keep our hands up. This is actually more striking basics, but luckily for you, I do know these basics, all right? If someone's going to come at you crazy, you do need to keep your hands up, okay? The main goal is to protect your jaw and ears. Your head is very hard. If you get punched in the head, it's unlikely it's going to knock you unconscious. It'll probably just break their hand if they actually do it. It'll hurt like hell, and it's not going to feel good. But you really need to prioritize your jaw and face. Like this area here is where you're trying to not get hit. You get hit in the eye, yeah, it's going to suck really bad, and it could break your orbital. But you're still protecting your eyes, obviously, but you need to see and not be able to obstruct your vision. It's very dangerous to just cover your face like this while someone's unloading on you with a flurry, because you can't ever get like a chance to disengage and come back, all right? You guys got to stop talking about Williams guard. I promise you it's not game changing. And no offense to Sean Williams, all right? So my hands are going to be up, and I want this shoulder tucked here to avoid getting punched here. So even if my hand, even if he like parries this hand down and moves it out of the way, like say you just move this hand down and then to throw a strike, I still need to have my shoulder ready to shoulder roll to absorb these impacts, okay? So shoulder tucked, chin tucked, hands up here like this. Now, if someone tries to engage, I want inside control. The same thing. And I also need to be kind of like crunched down, protecting my abdomen as well. You don't stand straight like this because you can't get hit in the ribs or in the body, and this is going to suck, okay? So you need to kind of have a posture where your shoulder's protecting your jaw, is protecting from straight strikes as well with your hand kind of in front of your face, and the right hand is here to avoid any strikes or kicks that could happen from the other direction. And if he's trying to throw to the body and I feel that opportunity, I can kind of tuck my elbow and absorb strikes here. Of course, if we're striking whatever, you could be striking back, that's a different story, but we're talking about how to engage and defend. You always want to engage after the strike is thrown. I'm not going to engage while his hands are up waiting for me, because if he's here and I try and grab him, that's how you're going to get hit in the face, right? you need to make sure that you're waiting or setting up your engagement just how you would set up a shot. So if he throws a strike first, after he throws a powerful move, this is the opportunity to grab, right, after he throws a strike. So you kind of have to be ready to get hit, absorb that impact, and then we're closing the distance. Body lock is probably your best bet. Body lock is good because I can put my head underneath his chin here. If my head is underneath his chin, he's not going to be able to headbutt me, right? My forehead is in proper position. My shoulder's tucked. I can avoid getting punched in the jaw from this position. And then I would be trying to move around his back. Any sort of takedown will work here that you're comfortable with. But I would always be trying to move here. I keep my head close to his back so I don't get spinning elbowed or head butted from behind here. I'm keeping my hips close so I don't get kicked in the balls or anything like that. And then the simplest way to bring someone to the ground is just doing a little knee nudge. That's what it's called. I bring my knee to his knee. I put all his weight on his foot so he can't step. And I just buckle that by tapping his knee inward to bring someone down to the ground. And now we're in a position where I can control, keeping my head close until I'm ready to go back to my more offensive striking position. Okay? And remember, if he extends his arms and does anything other than defend his face, that would be the time to unload those straight strikes, potentially clear this arm and trap it here. Wrist control is very effective.
My dad's a lawyer.
Watch Tony come back with Williams guard. You guys are so obnoxious.
I want to ban the whole chat at once.
They're just doing it to mess with me now. This control here is very effective in a scenario like this. And I want to put my knees. One thing you can do as well is use shin pins to help protect your knees as well. If you use a shin pin, it'll keep your knee off the ground as he kind of bucks and moves around. Now both arms are trapped. I have this arm trapped as well. He has no option here other than to try and... What are you trying to do here? He's got a knife. He's got some sort of sharp utensil that you just pulled out of your pocket. What is this, a screwdriver? You psychopath. I've been surprise attacked. Luckily, I have wrist control. I've identified the threat. If he tries to pass this knife off that he just suddenly pulled out of his pocket, unbeknownst to me. One thing that I do know about knife defense is sometimes you have to grab the blade of a knife because it's the only thing you can grab, and it's better to get your hand cut than get stabbed in the organs. All right? Luckily, I was able to isolate the wrist, disarm, disengage, and call for help. I really had no idea he was going to try and...
Yeah, I picked that up on the way there. It's pretty clever, huh?
Yes. Now you guys can see I'm skilled at knife defense as well.
I didn't get a stab in. You controlled my wrist. I didn't do shit with it.
He tried to stab me, but I blocked it. And you need to always be ready. You never know if they have a knife. You do have to be aware if someone starts reaching for their pocket. I saw him reaching for your pocket. I knew you were trying to get in there.
I got it from this one behind into the left and tried with the left. And then you ended up pinning my right arm. So like there was exchanges in there that were pretty fast.
Yeah, wrist control. Definitely isolate the hand that has the weapon. But if you ever know that someone has a knife, do not try and do that. Leave immediately, run away.
Apologize.
Because one thing is 100% certain. If someone has a knife and they're trying to stab you with it, you're going to get cut. Regardless of if you manage to get actually defend yourself or not, you will get cut. So any sort of knife defense where it's like some sort of tricky kung fu maneuver where you just don't get cut, that is not realistic. Let's be honest. Wrist control, how I just explained, is very effective. I think we've covered enough technique for the day, some street fight technique. We can go into some street fight rounds if you like. This guy always keeps talking about the Canis Plata.
I want to ban this guy.
Some people in the chat, they just they'll ask the same question days in a row. I'm purposely avoiding it because it's stupid. And they say it every single day. So consistent. It was that guy.
It's weird,
That is the wrong one. You clicked the guy above him. It's this extreme ownage. Yeah, there you go. Hide user. There we go. Please post comments that help the conversation. not just obnoxious ones trying to get attention.
Someone said, what about a stick? There's a stick.
Oh, shit.
Where did we get a stick?
Excellent.
Can I show the basic stick defense?
Yeah.
What it is?
I don't know the basic stick defense.
All right, people, I'm just going to clip this on my lapel encyclopedia hoodie, which will be available on Legion San Diego/shop soon.
The one thing about a stick, well, they probably can't hear this, but
Yeah.
the end of the stick is what generates the most force. The closer you are, the
Yeah.
less likely.
Yeah. So this is the defense to a stick that I've been taught. Where I started doing jiu-jitsu, we had to do quite a bit of self-defense. Normally, people with a stick will come over with an overhand. Like if he comes in with two hands, my best bet, I guess, would be to get it to change levels and get in on the legs. If he has one and is trying to do like this, then what I've seen is to like when he comes in, I close the distance in, block with my frame, and then dismantle his defenses. Yeah, just a basic Ippon Sayanaga defense. The most important thing here would for sure be to not be in the distance where the stick is gonna hit. So when he comes in, I need to cover my head, rush in, block this, and then any kind of hip throw will do. Or, and then you have the arm here, he's got the material, I grab it, and I'm like, all right. You attach the stick to his arm, and you break it. Yeah. But maybe you can find a way to block the two-handed one. I don't know that.
I mean, anytime someone has a weapon, you've got to leave the situation. If you're backed into a corner, especially when sticks are involved, you can't block the stick with your forearm. It'll break your forearm. If it's a bat or some sort of stick, it's the same kind of concept. You need to close the distance. If someone has a length advantage on you, obviously you want to get closer. If someone's swinging a stick, I'm trying to leave the situation, I think. I don't think I'm going to risk it, right?
What if you're pinned against the wall?
Yeah, if you're pinned against the wall, it's a different story. This is unexplored territory. I'm not sure. I don't think, it's like getting into knife territory again. It's like if someone has a knife and they're coming at you, you're probably just going to get fucked up. Like, let's be honest, you're probably going to get stabbed. You're going to freaking...
I think just generically closing the distance, going for a double is the best thing that can
Yeah,
do.
for sure. The other stuff, more applicable. All right? So we'll go into some street rounds now, guys. We'll start from, we'll do some wall scenarios. And we'll just grapple. How's that sound? And if there's interesting discoveries along the way, we'll discuss them. Miha, use the Williams guard. I can set keywords that get banned for saying them. Yeah. So I'll just do that in the future.
It's just childish. Like.
It's all right. You can't get upset by the internet. That's what they want. Do stick sparring, yeah. What sweatpants are these? These are Gracie Gym sweatpants. Yeah, after reviewing the Gracie self-defense techniques, I've deemed them ineffective against Miha. So I don't think that's the way to go. Using just traditional, or not traditional, I'd say just using wrestling and Greco controls seem a lot more effective. That's the way to do it. Now we're gonna spar. I need to get my mouthpiece. Oh, are we doing combat jiu-jitsu?
I don't know. Pinky swear that we're not gonna hit each other too hard.
No, I don't. You don't actually hit each other hard. You just expose where you could get hit.
Yeah, like touch the face.
Yeah, you just touch the face. Slap jitsu, yeah. All right, I'll be right back as well. Short intermission, and we'll get started.
Yo guys, who in this chat is Keenan Online members? Identify yourselves, please. Always, guys. Hell yeah. There's a lot of you. That's awesome. Awesome to see. I hope you're enjoying this kind of emergency streaming that we're doing right now. I'll also be trying to give you all a better avenue to ask questions on Keenan Online so that you don't have to do it with all the commenters here in the YouTube chat, so we can have them selected on a different screen. We're working on improving the whole Keenan Online live stream hub situation a lot. We're gonna keep it here on YouTube to have it more, like more accessible to everyone, so everyone's sane. But we're also gonna try to improve Keenan Online a lot. Lapel Encyclopedia owners too. There, technologically, it's a little bit harder to embed a good questionnaire in there, but I think we can do that too. I'll try, especially if we do another lapel guard only episode on next Monday. Tomorrow, by the way, this is hasn't been announced yet. Tomorrow we're doing gi again, but we're doing submission only. So we'll only be going over submission questions, escapes, everything that has to do with submissions. Secretly craft a knife again. That's actually a pretty good idea. Actually, it's like the problem is if I have it in my pocket earlier, I was worried that he's gonna show a double leg and like put his neck into it or something. So it's kind of dodgy, but a good idea. I like your thinking.
Hmm?
I can throw it too.
Yeah. What's going on here?
I did a roll call for Keenan Online members, and there was a lot of people just.
Oh, nice.
Me.
I'm not dissing Williams guard. I'm dissing you guys for thinking it's like something different than closed guard. Like it's just in the realm of closed guard. It's the name for a series of movements within closed guard. I'm sure, yes, there's a lot of techniques from there. Yes, Sean Williams knows those techniques and has systemized it. That's great, but it's not really like super important here. There's no fun allowed here. We're the only ones allowed to have fun while we roll. One thing to think about too in this grappling scenario is like you can't really do as much fun stuff. You can't really do as much fun jiu-jitsu things because jiu-jitsu is fun because you can do all these movements and you don't have to worry about getting punched in the face. You can just grapple and do all sorts of cool rolls and spin moves and inversions and stuff. But if we're like, what are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to gain position and get to a striking position? Well, that's going to look very boring. You're just going to keep things simple. Look to get to smash half past someone's guard. From guard, you're only going to be playing half guard with underhooks and closed guard to maintain posture, break their posture. So when we roll today, I'm not going to be focused on that. I'm not going to be focused on just trying to not get hit. I'm going to be focused on trying to see what sport jiu-jitsu moves work in the scenario. Oh, look, is that Chris?
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
He came to pick up a kettlebell and a band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like a regular Wagner Roach match, yeah. Basically, yeah. Review some grappling from Street Beefs. That's some sort of fight channel.
Yeah, it is. It's not very classy.
All right, so which wall can we use?
Yeah.
The far wall?
There, yeah. But
How zoomed can you get? Yeah, obviously you can't defeat someone who's better trained than you. That's a very good point. If they're better trained than you, they're probably going to win.
You can go to the right.
yeah, I found my wedding ring. Fucking awesome.
Is it yours or?
No, it's someone's, but it's very similar to mine. It's mine.
Okay. Can you see over there? We could just do it right here too, but there's kind of like stuff. Yeah? No, I see the screwdriver. He doesn't have it. Thank God.
I have it.
You got it
In
right.
trouble.
No, I've never rolled with Hinner. I tried to get up to his gym one time, but it didn't work out. All right, you guys are gonna have to entertain yourselves because we won't have the mic. Yeah, I don't have any gloves. If I had gloves on me, we could definitely do that in the future. But for now, we'll just do some positional against the wall. We'll start from like, I don't know, some traditional Gracie stances, neck control. All right?
Give Emma the mic. She wants to thank people. She's very,
Yeah, Emma can talk to you guys.
I'll try.
It's optional.
If you guys won't be able to see this, just let me know and I'll move them away from that wall. What do I think of these street defense techniques? I think that I wouldn't be able to use it against a guy like one of them at all. Tony's here, but he's not feeling well, so he might not be joining us. Kendall is one of the white belts at Legion, yeah, it's pretty good. No, Tony doesn't have corona. And Mika is Slovenian, not Slovakian. That's different. Ooh. I like gi more, but I also do no gi. What would I do if I was fighting two people at the same time? I would run away. Mika is definitely the better cook. 100%. And I'm a blue belt. I'll ask them that, Bob. I actually never saw Mika in a street fight before.
You okay?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Keenan has the grips. He's hitting him in the solar plexus right now. Nope, I do not have a judo background. I wish I did, but I don't. I will not shout that out to Keenan. He'll kill me if I do that.
That was the best cardio workout I've done in a couple of months.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but striking was really hard to do because we both had sleeve control the whole time. Me and Miha both were getting good sleeve. Well, I wasn't at first. I was trying to do more like no-gi stuff, but then Miha started grabbing my sleeve and I couldn't do my slaps. And then he was slapping me, so then I grabbed his sleeves. And then no one was slapping anyone.
Yeah.
It was really effective. So it was kind of an interesting dynamic. It was like spider guard. Well, not necessarily spider guard, but just double sleeve grip. It was super effective. And any time that I got close to like a dominant position, he was using the wall to escape. I couldn't maintain position, which is the Jackie Chan philosophy of using your environment.
What also helped me was there was a couple of moments where I was sure you would have taken my back normally, but I could escape because I got my back to the wall.
Yeah. Using the wall is definitely, it's a fun dynamic. And it seemed like we couldn't get away from the wall either.
No.
Like you can't just stop the person from staying near the wall. Could you guys see that okay? And as far as leg locks, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard for him to set up leg locks because I would get sleeve grips. The sleeve grips are really crazy. And I couldn't break the sleeve grip either. It's not like a gi. It's much harder to break this sleeve grip.
Whoa, this hood is like high quality. Hasn't stretched at all.
Yeah. I'm telling you, sleeve grips are good. If you add hypothetical kicks, well, that's the thing. It's like even when you're on bottom, you don't really feel the opportunity to kick that much. You can't like just stand back and then kick them. Their legs are in the way, they're gripping you. I was constantly holding on to Miha's ankle at one point where I was just had the ankle control, and every time he tried to lift his leg, there was an off balance. He had to go back to normal base. There's a lot of misconceptions about how it actually plays out, basically. And I think if any of you who think that you could pull off more strikes, I don't think you really know what it's like to like grapple someone. If they know what they're doing, it's much more difficult to strike them than you think, especially when there's clothes involved.
Have you guys trained any MMA style against the cage grappling? Have you?
Yeah. Plenty. I've trained with MMA fighters my entire jiu-jitsu career, helping them in grappling scenarios in the cage, so I kind of know how to do it. I mean, I'm not an expert, but
When I was doing MMA, I didn't do a lot of it, but I did quite a bit the last time I was in New York with our good friend Gary. He's really good at that stuff.
Yeah, there's tons of technique in that realm. You can probably go very deep into the MMA technique. It's just not widely available because technique is such a powerful thing, and in jiu-jitsu we have sort of like an open source technique thing. But the different MMA camps are very focused on their technique and keeping it secret so they can use it effectively. Based on your hoods, it looks like there's a lot of cross hood grip with the right hands. Was that good control? Yeah. Last time we did this, the hoodie itself is like a great lapel grip. It's almost like a built-in Bravo grip wherever you go. It's just like a perfect Bravo grip control. And we were doing a lot of submissions from there. But I think for what we were doing just now, I think we were both kind of trying to prioritize like how to get to striking positions. That's what I was doing, at least. Were you doing the same?
Yeah, just try to be on top.
Yeah, I was trying to be on top and get to striking positions, but the sleeve control just messed us both up. Once you get on top, if you had the sleeve control, you couldn't really strike. In those scenarios, you could like come over with elbows maybe, but even still, like if they just straighten their arm away, your arm can't cut the angle. I didn't really feel the opportunity for that either.
It's like super soft to grip. It expands and it even pulls over the wrist. It's better than a gi grip. Like
yeah, it's much better than a gi grip. And the material doesn't rip. Like you can put a lot of force into it. It's not going to tear. I was trying to break Miha's grips at one point with like full on like lawnmower starting pulls, and it wasn't breaking his grip. Where I know in the gi that grip would break. So we'll do another one. I think we should just turn it and point it towards this wall.
T-shirt round?
A t-shirt round like that? It's going to change the dynamic, the no sleeve dynamic.
Yeah.
That one, I think the wood, I don't know. We could put the crash mat over it maybe and just work with the crash mat too. Yeah, we'll try it without the sleeves. But the biggest, if someone has a hoodie on, the sleeve grips are really strong, like really strong. It changes the whole dynamic of how you think the fight would play out. Were you guys able to see the gripping? Can you worm with the hoodie? You can worm with a t-shirt. We did that last time as well. You can get an effective worm. And I don't know if you guys saw, there was a situation where I had the sleeve, but he was standing up, and a deep De La Riva Barambola was like my only option. And it worked. Yeah. It was like the only thing, I couldn't get to him. I can't sit up. I can't like I'm going to get punched in the face. I had to stay back, and the deep De La Riva Barambola was strong. So, I mean, only because I had the sleeve grip. If the sleeve grip wasn't there, it wouldn't have worked, but there's a lot of gi crossover when hoodies are involved. Hoodie street fight jitsu is my specialty. I like it a lot. I think it's going to be really fun to train, like in an actual class, like with a lot of people training in their hoodies. You just wear hoodies and sweatpants, and man, you sweat a lot. I feel like I'm weight cutting. Can you force choke with a shirt? I think pretty sure you can do about any choke with a shirt. Cross chokes in the t-shirt was really strong too. The t-shirts weren't breaking or tearing, and it was almost better.
That question there, would you invert when striking is involved? When he inverted with the deep De La Riva Barambola, there was no strike I could have thrown. No way. I wouldn't reach his head. I only had one hand. With the other one, I had to post to defend a little bit. There's no way.
Barambola on concrete probably works, but hurts, no. Well, yeah, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to break your spine or neck. It's not going to be comfortable, but if it's the best option to get on top, do it. Yes, I've had street fights. Yes. Barambola doesn't work for sport jiu-jitsu. It only works for self-defense. Yes, it's true. What about a kick when Keenan inverted? I had his leg. Like, his balance is off. This is a concept that's hard for people who even train jiu-jitsu regularly to understand. But if your balance is off, you can't generate power. Like, you can't generate power to pass. You can't generate power to throw a punch. If your foot is off the ground, if one foot is off the ground or isn't fully planted, you cannot generate power. All of the force comes from your feet. Punch force comes from your feet being planted. It's very difficult to throw a strike that has a lot of force behind it on one foot. Try and punch a punching bag on one foot and see how hard you can punch. It's probably not hard enough to really knock someone out. It might hurt still if it's fast, but it's not going to be super dangerous. So the off balance stopped his ability to try and stomp me or punch me from that position. Let's try one on this wall. We're going to do another one, but we'll do it in t-shirts. I got to grab a t-shirt, so just a second.
Guys, I just want to talk about the t-shirt I have on. This is from the pre-Reebok UFC era, the Just Bleed era. And I thought, like, it's not a very nice t-shirt anymore. I thought this would be the perfect way for it to make its exit. See ya, Jason Allen. Peace. We'll probably do another lifting session on Friday, but I'll also be recording something with Tony for Keenan Online members, like at-home workouts. Micha, what do you think about current politics in Slovakia? I think you're dead to me. That's first of all. I'm from Slovenia, which is a different country, so I'm offended.
All right, I've got a jersey on, so this is a different material. I'm not sure how it'll hold up. But another armbar soap, a piece of apparel. You think this t-shirt's gonna be fine?
This one?
No, yours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the t-shirts are very strong. Like if your intention is to rip the t-shirt, yeah, like if I grab inside the collar and try and rip it. But Miha was even doing this the other day and it just stretched it out. But depending on the t-shirt, I'm sure it'll break. But the thing is, don't try and rip their shirt. You want the shirt. You want them to keep their shirt on. If you rip the shirt off, then now you're fighting and you don't have grips, and they do. So it's not in your best interest to rip it. So it's better to like actually use like a solid grip where you can get control, or like a cross choke grip. These ones felt super strong. But don't try and rip it. If it wouldn't be wise. You're just giving yourself a disadvantage. All right, we're gonna do another round on the wall, and probably call it a day after that because we got to do some other stuff after. Right here, we'll just put that in front of it. There we go.
Now you're getting attacked. Yeah. You know what? Listen here, buddy.
It's so hard. All right. Man, with punches, you really can't stop anywhere. There's a whole different urgency to getting out from bottom that doesn't let you chill. Yeah, I boxed before. You see the berimbolo is one of your only options when someone stands up straight. If they stand up straight and are stacking you, you gotta go for berimbolo.
I think the comp team here should at least once a week do grappling like this for cardio, only for cardio, because it's like so much tougher.
It's so much harder than a grappling round. It's crazy. Because your goal really isn't to like fight for the submission, it's to fight for position to punch them. I was looking for a lot of like wrist traps because you can control one wrist. You can try and maybe get in a shot or two. It's very unlikely that you can get to a position where you can punch multiple times though. No. You get like one clean shot maybe after a proper setup. And then you take it.
And I think to defend, you need to actually break a lot of rules of jiu-jitsu, you know. Sometimes I felt like I had to reach out way further to prevent a strike, create some opening like that, and then go back in and try to escape.
Yeah. Wrist trap to back take, I don't even remember. There's so much scrambling. The striking just left so much opportunity to get countered and end up on bottom again. Headbutts are not an equalizer because both people can headbutt, dude.
Yeah.
You can get headbutt too. It's not an equalizer. And like, I inhaled a bunch of fuzz from my sweatpants.
That's something I noticed. You, for the longest time in this round, I didn't grab your pants. When I started to grab your pants, I got a couple of escapes and I got some positions back just when I grabbed them.
Yeah, I couldn't even focus on grabbing. I wasn't grabbing any material. I was too focused on just trying to get like body lock control and wrist control. There's so much black fuzz over there from the inside of my sweatpants somehow. And at the very beginning of the round, I just inhaled one directly.
I think it was on my arms from the hoodie.
Oh, okay, it was your hoodie probably. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us today. That was hard. Even just 2 rounds of that was hard. I can't imagine doing like a full hour training like that. So, we'll see you guys all tomorrow in the gi. Only covering submissions in the gi tomorrow. I noticed that I saw no up kick opportunities when you were in t-shirts, but with hoodies and sleeve grips, I saw it a lot. So the spider guard is the shit on the streets. Yeah. It's pretty easy to like focus on not having their feet come up near your face. Like just getting ankle control and trying to stack them was kind of my priority. And Miha was doing the same, just getting his knees behind my knees so I couldn't get my legs up. And that's when I had to start trying to look for like De La Riva. But it felt good. And I think, if anything, this just kind of shows that you can do more sporty jiu-jitsu moves. Like it has a place somewhere. Like I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm sure like all of that stuff could be dealt with in a more simple way, but it just felt natural to go for sleeve grips, and the berimbolo opportunity was there. So yeah, we'll see you guys later. Everyone have a good day. We're going to close it off. Peace out.